Look at that. Beautiful. Let's do some gardening. So this is the front of the house, and as you can see, quite a bright day. Lucky to have the canal right on the front. The dogs appeared. Unfortunately, the back is still in the shade, so I am wrapped up with a number of layers on, ready to do some work. Alright, good morning. Saturday the 24th of Feb. And a lot more repotting to do. In fact, before I start, if I zoom in on the top of the garden, you'll see there's the line of the sun at the moment, just shining at the very top. So, unfortunately, get very little sunlight where I am, but hey ho. So, I'll confess I don't know what this is. However, if I zoom in, you can see it's in a bit of a bog. So it needs repotting. Like a lot of my smaller ones, it's just in that little bonsai pot to stop it falling over through the winter months. I haven't touched this other than it had this big sucker coming out the side, and I just cut it off. I will probably remove that now, if I'm honest. And just thinking of that, one of the other tasks that I wanted to do was set up a little cutting propagation station today. I may do it tomorrow. The ground is still quite boggy, so let's get this out, see what we're working with, and hopefully this will be a nice quick one to begin the day, but I do have a lot to get through. Right. One thing I'm conscious of with these videos is I'm never certain what the best camera angle is, so any feedback is always welcome. So this is the plant, just beginning to leaf. I'm not sure what it is. I've got a feeling it's some sort of berry, but wouldn't want to put any wages on that. Wow, there's a big hard lump in the pot. Let's have a look what we've got. Okay, lots of roots. I'm not sure what that hard lump is, and it's absolutely drenched, not draining at all. So let's begin. You know what? Compared to last weekend, conditions are... Oh my gosh, what is that? Frost? It was very cold last night, and the top is actually frosted hard. Yeah, last week the wind was bitter, so I'm thankful there isn't a sniff of a breeze today, even though it's technically colder on paper. That wind was just biting. So I did a quick walkthrough in the week, and I think I've got about another 30 or 40 trees that I need to repot now. A number of those are pines, and I read different things about pines. Some saying you're fine in the early spring, some saying leave it till the end of summer. I'm still not entirely confident, but the majority seem to be suggesting do those toward the end of summer. So That might be what I do. It doesn't help that I'm having to read about every tree. And in fact, I didn't even realise I repotted a pine the other day, and I forget who it was mentioned it in the comments saying it's the wrong time to repot a pine, and didn't even click. So, on the subject of pines though, I don't know if anyone's seen my short video. My stone pine seeds that I put in 2 weeks today, I think, have begun to sprout. I didn't have many, so I think I had about 30. 7, 14, 21, 28. There's 28, yeah, there's 28 cells that I used, and I had a few left over. I just chucked somewhere else. And 6 have sprung up, and I'll tell you what, they've sprung up with with some real vigour. You know, from nothing, and I was thinking, oh, I hope I get 1 or 2, to the next day. I came home from work, I'd been in the office, and switched the light on, and 4 of them had appeared with about 3/4 of an inch growth. And strong growth as well. I've got a lot of Japanese black pine seedlings at the moment, and they're still very delicate. But these stone pines are look to be machines. So we'll see what happens with those. So this soil is very fibrous. And actually, as wet as it looked from the outside, it's not actually that soggy once I've got through. However, roots are not looking too inspiring yet. Bit of a jungle. I was really disappointed. Let me show you it quickly, actually. This thing. So last week I recorded a video of this, and it's a rose, and I just got it. I was in some garden centre of some sort, and all the roses were on sale for £5. I thought, can a rose be a bonsai? No idea, but I would like to find out. So I bought it, and it was in a very long, tall pot. I was thinking, why is it in such a tall pot? And then the base, it had maybe a 8 to 10 inch, really thick. I don't know if it was a taproot or what. It was like a pole that the rose was just on the end. It was the worst repot I've ever done, and the microphone died halfway through. What you can't see in there is what I did to try and get some sort of order to the roots. If it survives, it's the $1 million question, isn't it? If it survives, when I next do a repot, I'll have a look and show you. Right, so we're getting a little bit closer to some sort of order, and this sucker, it's almost it's almost a twin trunk from what I can see. Let me give it a bit of a rinse. Again, if anyone's watching this going, you shouldn't bare root that, forgive me, I don't even know what it is. Right, let's get you a look at those roots. Absolute mayhem. Up, down, sideways. underneath. So I'm going to commence trimming these a little bit. Let me bring the camera around. So I just have to frame where my hand will be to check it's in the frame of the camera. So if you see me doing any odd movements, it's because I'm rechecking. Right, okay, so tools. Bought some new scissors. Might be too big for this, but I'm going to give them a whirl because my other clippers were getting a little bit too dull. So these are fine, but they aren't precise enough. There we go. So these have got a much finer end. They're just losing a bit of their sharpness. So the first thing I'm going to do is just remove any glaringly obvious roots that I do not want. And that is going to be primarily anything at this stage pointing upwards. Or like here, we've got some growing out the side quite high up, we'll just get rid of them. That one, big one pointing upwards. And again. Give it a quick rinse again. There's a bit of soil around the base that's affecting my view. So as I go through my journey with these things, my shopping list ever grows. So I'm thinking now I need some sort of just a delicate brush just to remove the soil that's in and around the bottom here. So this is my third weekend now of repotting, and it's interesting how I've gone from hating it to finding a weird sense of I don't know, enjoyment. Okay, so before I go any further, this sucker here, it needs to come off. It's not adding anything structurally that I like the look of. So this is infuriating, fine fibrous soil. It's just clogging up the origin point of these roots, so I can't really see that well. So that one does a massive twist upwards, so I'm going to get rid of that. And that one. That one goes upwards. It's got an upwards growth. Okay, so we're slowly getting somewhere now. I just need to refine those. They're still... there we go. And that one. Okay, so now I'm going to go underneath and remove anything that's coming straight down or going under and across. That big one's the first one to go. And then you. Actually, it's not going to stand, but with a bit of a trim, there's not a bad. I don't know if, oh, I'm not on camera. There's not a bad radial set there. So let's give them a bit of a trim. It's going to be a severe trim. Any right angles where the roots are going outward and then suddenly drop down, which is most of them, unfortunately. And that is looking okay. So lastly, what I'm looking for now, we've got that big root coming along there, and then this root comes forwards, which is good, and then this root comes back on itself. So I'm just going to go in and get any like that, or this one underneath, another one directly underneath, it's pointing straight downward. Like so. And this attention to detail, it is where I struggle, but that one's on top of the root, which will come up if I leave it. This attention to detail is, you know, it's not what I enjoy, but if I do it now, it will pay off in the long run. Just tidy that up. So, you know what? I'm pretty happy with that. Get you a close up. That will do. Now, the only other question I have is this one here. Let me bring it into view. Let me get that one out of the way. There's this big root here that divides into two, and I already know the answer. I'm going to chop it. There. Okay. So I'm not going to do anything to the top. I can see things that I want to do, but actually I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to pot this up. Now, I had brought out with me one of these pond baskets, but I think that might be just too big. So let me go and grab one of the others. I'll be back. You know what I've also realised with this? I've got OCD. I have to line the camera up with the brickwork as best I can. So, actually looking at it, there's a significant difference between the two, so I don't think that will be big enough. It isn't. And I don't want to cut those back any further, so I'm going to use the bigger square one. And the other thing I realised the other day was, why do I keep buying square pond baskets? If I'm trying to develop radial roots, buy circular ones. So I've ordered, I think, about 25 more. I could actually fit nicely in there. But I'll be using the pot for the sake of it, so I'm not going to. Right then, soil time. Fresh box of soil ready to rock and roll. That sits in there nicely. Don't need to worry about a front at the moment, so I'm just going to make sure it's sat in reasonably well. I'll fill it up. Shouldn't be much space to fill with roots because it's got so few and they're nice and evenly spaced, but I will just go through the motions, doesn't hurt. Okay. Job done. If anybody knows what this is, please do let me know. I do remember why I purchased it. It's got quite an aged looking trunk. Let me zoom in. So you should be able to see it's really quite, well, it has the appearance of looking quite weathered, which I liked when I saw it. Whether that will continue to be the case as it grows, I have no idea. But for now, I'm just going to let that be and let it enjoy the sunshine when it finally arrives. Right. Thank you.